Can you speak Santa right now?
Yeah.
Let me get it on my iPhone. I wish I
You understand what I'm saying? It's coming out of nowhere. You're in an environment, you get excited, I get you pumped up. But those people are at home living life and they're bumping themselves with the shovels to the forehead. And they're ordering. And you can't order $200 for a paper. So we just started. And you could just let loose. Now, I'm going to teach you membership marketing the way I know it. Some of you have seen it before. If you've seen it, look at it with new eyes. If you've heard it, hear it with new ears. And if you decide to act upon it, you will act upon it with a new judgment. Because what you're going to learn tonight puts everything together as it relates to having a database of members and not customers. The difference between a member and a customer is a customer doesn't have a relationship with each other. A member has a relationship with another member. Is there a danger with members knowing each other? Yes or no? Yes. What's the danger? If you're no good, they talk to each other. And just let me know that bad news travel faster. Yes or no? Yeah. So if you're good, do they talk to each other? Yes. Did Facebook do a good job? Yes or no? Somehow they found it. All it was a vote in the very beginning at Harvard University. And it was a sexist vote, to be honest. You like this person or that person? Actually, which girl is better looking? This one or that one? And that started and it moved into a complete movement. So its beginnings don't always have to be evangelically enlightened. They don't have to be so thought-provoking, like, my gosh, look where it's starting from. But forget how things start. Think about the 4 acres. But after it turns into an oak, you provide shelter, you can save a life, you also take a life, and it provides shelter and shade for lots of people. Now, what's interesting is sports center. That center in the back is coming all the way from me. I've been asking these questions of everyone of the folks I've given this acorn, because this is our symbol for the event. I said, what do you see? An acorn or an oak tree? And of course, and it says, I see you. Would you please laugh at this? Thank you. How do you get something you like for? Thank you. And plus, laughter is good for you, right? Do it again. Yeah, just pretend I'm in a 70s sitcom in the U.S. and just pretending to laugh. Now, no one else I deal with pretends to laugh, so it's always fun to hear laughter, even if it's pretending. Sven told me he doesn't see an acorn, he doesn't see an oak tree. He sees his really floor. Are you with me? Now I'm not validating this fun. And so oak, solid oak, has been a symbol of strength. And so that's why we utilize it, because everyone has a different point of view. This is going to be mine. So what I'd like you to do is turn to, for me, page 29. For you, I don't know what it is. It says membership, marketing, secret. Membership, marketing, secret. And I'd like you to go to.
You want to get to that?
Go to the beginning.
That's not the beginning?
Is that the beginning?
That's it.
No,
It's the first slide.
No.
There you go. Wait a second.
No, I got it. Let's go to the beginning.
That's the first slide that I
That's
got.
the first slide? Okay, so we're going to do this part PowerPoint and part flip chart, because I messed up. So here we are. Let me do that. So the 5 advantages. 5 what? Advantages. Advantage number 1. Advantage number 1. to a membership site is the only reason why most people have one, and it's secondary. What is it? Again? That's advantage number one, because when you have a member, they bring you income again and again and again, but most people can't make more than $2,000 or $3,000 a month to the membership site. That's been my experience. $2,000 to $3,000 a month. Now, if you're charging $27 or $37 and you're making $3,000 or $2,000 a month, that's pretty good. Is don't count on the recurring income. I'm saying pull that and have those people become your high-end clients. Because have they proven, report, have they proven that they could be high-end clients? Yes or no? Yeah. If they just pay it once, they're automatically high-end. So the biggest mistake people make is they think it's all about the recurring income. Here's another mistake people make. I don't know why, but I've got my best leads that I'm about to show you from my membership site. In words, new JV partners on the membership site, they have an affinity for you. They have an affinity for what you do. So if they are a member of yours, chances are they not only can support you, you can JV with them. Those of you who don't know what JV is joint venture. Say that with me. Very good. So this is the easiest place to get a member of new JV partner is from the membership site. That's advantage number 2. Advantage number 3. This may be a new term for some of you, but Socrates has used it for years, and everyone in his lineage. The word, please. Crowdsourcing. Thank you. Well done. Very enthusiastic. Crowdsourcing means surveying. Crowdsourcing new products. Crowdsourcing new ideas for new types of membership. It could be gold, platinum, diamond. But get your members to vote. Write this down somewhere in useful notes. People support what they have to create. People support what they have to create. Now this is a new one. The fourth advantage is what? Please loud. Premium client. That's the same thing as saying high-end. Premium client. Now, in this room, I have clients who pay me. Because I asked. So if you have a membership site, and look, this is not technology or any of that. I'm going to show you technology that's possible. The membership site is another type of website. It's just one that has a username and a password. That's all it is. Do you agree? Is Facebook a membership site? Yes. Is it successful? Yes. Does it have an opt-in page? Yes. It does. Yes, it does. Does Facebook have an opt-in page? Yes. Is it the most successful opt-in page of all time? Yes. Does it have the username and password on the opt-in page? Yes. Why can't you? Why can't your opt-in page have the username and password? Why doesn't anyone think about that? And if it has a username and password, are you now, even if you're free, are you a customer or are you a member? What are you? Is a member more? Same thing that causes war, scarcity, is the same thing that causes people to act. That's why we have war, I guess. If something is scarce, people want it more. They think it's going to go away. Just by putting in a username and a password, you will return back to that site. Don't take my word for it. Look at your own behavior. Many of you live on Facebook. If you tell me you're on Facebook 4 hours, money you go, why? It's 8 hours. Now, Twitter, username and password. Google Plus, username and password. Today, Google, a Hangout, you need a username and password. It is so easy to have a username and password in any site. Why just ask for the email address? That is all I'm saying. And that is the central premise of this event. That's why it's called membership site intensive. Now there's one additional advantage, and that is the membership site, you have cash flow, which gives you something that you don't have with other sites, which is a what? Exit strategy. I'm just going to bring something up that's possible. The internet has been around for a long time, but it has been active for about a decade. Would you agree? I mean, you started to buy stuff about maybe 10 to 15 years ago online. I started buying stuff online in 2001 in the mobile market. Okay? You had companies that bought companies like Paramount, and within 2 years, boom, went under. You have bubbles that burst. You had Amazon.com, the shares just went into the tank, and then Warren Buffett bought a bunch of shares, and the shares went back up. And now Jeff Bezos is very, very wealthy. Amazon.com was not profitable for 12 years. Okay? And many times it's still not profitable. Okay? So what I'm suggesting to you is put there be websites out there, maybe membership sites, that you can buy for the owner. And you know better marketing than they do. And you can increase the value of that. Is that possible? Yes. I'm not talking about Flippa or AdSense or anything relying on Google. I don't trust Google. Google will change. I trust Google in getting me, number one, if I bought something or if I use something that they own, such as Google AdWords, Google Hangouts, Google Plus, Google metrics and tracking. Okay? But I'm not talking about traffic from AdSense, which is most of the sites are sold these days, getting traffic there, there's a lot of traffic coming in, and AdSense traffic. And AdSense means that you're getting paid every time there's a move click on that website. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what if you purchased a website? Are they out there today? What if you purchased a website that was a membership site that actually was generating $50,000 a year? Now, with skills like mine and yours, could you possibly make that worth $100,000 a year within a year? Yes or no? Yes. I think you could. Isn't that easier than us having a launch? Yes. Isn't it? Yes. Isn't it easier to start with what someone else already did, like Warren Buffett does, and just increase it and become an improver versus an inventor? Yes or no? Yes. Then why don't we do it? I don't know. But I'm going to start doing it. Because I think there are plenty of people who have very strong money, as in 401k programs that actually have money in it, and retirement accounts, they're going to invest in. What are they going to invest in? A CD at 0.05% a year. Right? There's nothing left. So why don't I invest my money in a website that's already generating money and use my skills as a marketer, as you have as a marketer, and raise the asset value? We have a new asset class in the world of this. And if you want to take it, it's yours. All I'm telling you is a membership site is the asset class that I would recommend because it has a cash flow. It doesn't have an exit strategy. Yes or no? Yes. Now, if you're not used to buying stuff like property or stocks or bonds or investments, then it'll take some time. But if you know your marketing, could you at least start looking for websites not to joint venture with, but to buy? Could you do that? Yeah. Could you approach someone and say, look, I want to buy your website, and my buyout is going to be, I'm going to raise the value, and subject to the raise of value of this much, I'm gonna put the extra money that we make together, and I'm gonna buy you out. I'm not taking you. Could you do that?
Yes.
So let's start doing it. Because right now, this is going to be ridiculous. They're going to be violently opposed. And in 2 or 3 years, we will be accepted as self-help. But you've heard it here. Now, I'm going to do it. I'm going to attempt to do it. It is easier than trying to get a JD partner to launch for me and not show up during launch day when I've already launched for them. It hurts my feelings, to be honest. So I'd rather go, and rather than JD with them, I'd rather own them. And say, look, I want to buy you out, and here's what we're going to do. I'm going to work for free. That's called a leverage buyout. What's it called? All it takes is perspiration capital. What kind of capital?
Perspiration capital.
And guess what? You know more, even if you're not making $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 a year with your website, you know more than the people who are making that kind of money. You realize that? Most of them got lucky, to be honest. They didn't even, I don't know, I just got to make $40,000 a year. If you're making $40,000 a year on a membership site, is there a way with the skills you just learned already day one that you can go and double that within a year? Could you do it? Just with JVs with other people, could you do it? So think about that. Okay? Those are the advantages. All right, let's go to the PowerPoint. Let's go back at it now. So I have to write it here. All right. Are we in the right place now?
Yes.
Ah, good. I erased my first page of my PowerPoint. All right. So, the first question I get is, I don't want to be amongst you, and I shouldn't do that when I'm on stage. So the first question I get is, Alex, what are the steps of launching a membership site? That's the first question I get. Well, I'm going to show you a step. But if someone else has already launched one, can you do a relaunch? Yes or no?
Yes.
If one department store, one grocery store buys another, do they have a relaunch? Yes. So here's step one. Now you're gonna, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it really easy for you. So I stay at night, and I love you for doing it. I just have to do it. Please do yourself to say it. It is not easy to be good at that. And those of you training who are not trained with that, we know we don't try to buy. Otherwise, it's the 7 a.m. That's really 3 days. Until you want to go to Disneyland, sorry. It's true. All right, so step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. What you're going to do is you're going to see it and say it, 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 and then write it down. Are you with me? And when that happens, you just cement it. So step number 1, give it to me nice and loud. What is it?
Identify niche.
Thank you. Next.
Next.
Next. Next.
Next.
Now I write those down. And I'll tell you what they mean. Because those are the 4 steps. There are probably more. So like Thomas Jefferson said, why use 3 with your words to say something and you use 2? Identify niche. Raise your hand if you're not from North America. Identify niche. Get niche in your niche. Okay? See? Okay. So, identify niche. Now, what is the niche we're looking for? Actually, I prefer a micro niche. So let me give you a niche. An industry is big. Call it sports. Golf is a niche or niche. That's narrower, bigger the funnel. A micro niche or niche could be products to that niche. So a micro niche could be putting, driving a golf ball long and straight. By the way, most men here, who plays golf? Men raise women not so much. Again. The men could care less about putting. They just want to drive a ball long and straight. Right? To impress the women who are watching. Okay? The women, they love to putt. Right? So you have putting. You have the wedge game. Right? You have all sorts of micro issues within golf. Are you with me? Right? Basketball, another niche. There is dribbling. There is shooting free throws. There are all these topics within the micro niche. So you have your industry, too big. You have your niche that you're looking for. What are the products you can offer them? What are they looking for? What are the problems they have? That's how you identify it. When you're typing into Google and you're looking for something, are you typing in the solution or are you typing in the problem? Problem. A woman typing, forget her age. It could be even her husband. The woman or man does not type in hormone therapy. They type in menopause problem. Are you with me? They always type the problem. They don't type in chiropractic stretching. They type in lower back pain. So if you know the problem, then you know what people are looking for. Those are the people that you want to dominate. Say, I want to dominate.
I want to dominate.
Let's just grow database. It is not grow database of your paid members. It's grow database of free members. It is not grow database of paid members. It's grow database of free members. Question, pop quiz, let's see if you know it. Does Facebook have free members?
Yes.
Do they?
Yes.
Who's a member? Good. Does Facebook have paid members?
Yes.
Who says yes? Okay, who's a member? Advertisers. An advertiser is a paid member. If you advertise on Facebook, you are paying Facebook. Are you a member of Facebook?
Yes.
Must you be a member in order to advertise on Facebook?
Yes.
No, otherwise you won't get found. I'm not saying you do the same thing. I'm just saying that Facebook builds $1 billion. Wow, I think I didn't have $1 billion. So the first thing you do is you identify the niche. The next thing is you grow your database. And I want you to grow it to about 400 to 500 people. Just 10% of them will say yes. They really will, if you do one thing. We do the Google Hangout. I do one every week on a Friday. Who's been doing? Are they fun?
Yes.
Are they content rich?
Yes.
Would someone else please use index cards like I do? I mean, you don't copy me when you do that kind of stuff. I mean, please do it. The Harrisons are the ones that I just want to move it. Right? Listen, use index cards. Index cards are good for charts. They're so much more interesting than a talking head. Use screen share. But if you want to get people to have your list grow before you launch a membership site, utilize Google Hangouts. Are you with me? Yes or yes?
Yes.
Okay? Next, member launch. What is that? That is your charter. What's the word? Charter members. Charter members are the first people who come in. They're the ones. Here's the funny thing. Has anyone ever bought an Oriental rug in the store? Have you ever noticed that every Oriental rug store is always going out of business? Have you noticed that? Like 80% off, 90% off. I came in and I said, where's my 100% off? I want to get it. And Armenians are great Oriental rugs. Right? Everyone is a charter member for Oriental rugs. Right? You're always the first one because the company's going out of business. But it's there for the next 10 years. That's their strategy. It does not breed trust, but it does get people to buy. Yes? Okay. A charter member means they're getting more for the least amount of money. My offer, my continuing education offer, is not inexpensive. I think it's a high-end offer that I'm giving on Wednesday. But it is the lowest cash outlay, and my partners will agree, because I've kind of beaten them up with the jewels, that it will be the lowest cash outlay if you buy it together as a group. If you buy the things on a card, it's more expensive. That's a charter membership launch. You need all these tools: the soil, the water, the sunlight, to grow your acorn, your spirit. You can buy them on a card and it'll cost you X, or you can buy them together through an aggregator, maybe, and kind of like Amazon.com, for less money. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Now, you can say no to the big offer and say yes to the small one, directly with them, that's fine. But a charter membership is that type of thing. I want to give you everything I got right now, and what I like to do is lock them in. Lock, what's the word? Lock them into a price. I have people still first 100, the first 500, the first 50, I don't care. But make it a member launch that is paid. Are you with me? Are we kind of doing a member launch with this live chat? We don't know where it's going to go. It could be a membership site. This could be a giant membership site, mastermind, that's virtual. We don't know where it's going to go, but it's a member launch. Okay, final thing. This is what people forget. Engage community. Say that with me.
Engage community.
This is what I don't understand. When you get a new customer, typically people forget them and they go to the new one. Right? Who in this room got a phone call when they registered for this event? One more time. Okay. When's the last time that happened at a seminar? Now, if you didn't get a phone call, you got a message, and we called you Sandra, and she called you from Australia. Why? Because I wanted to make a memory with you. I wanted you to show up and make a memory. And guess what? We have a very high show up rate. To get here. All it took was a phone call. Is that called engagement? Yes or no? With the membership site, the only wrong engagement is no engagement. Every single day, engage with them inside the membership site. So they come in. Outside is like being outside the castle. In the old days, Paris had a wall around it, right? It was a drawbridge. Being outside of Paris was being outside, okay? Being inside was same. So whatever content you deliver, when you engage them, bring them in so they feel part of a community. Community, say that word?
Community.
All right, should we go on?
Yes.
Any questions so far? Good. Makes sense, right? Okay, good. Now, everyone seems to have a problem with identifying a niche. If you don't know a niche, I'm going to give you 3 resources, and you will know what your niche is in 24 hours. The first is say it, all 3, and then write it down. Number 1 is what? Number 2? Number 3? Write it down. Well, Alex, magazines.com. How do I find the niche there? Well, they have magazine titles, right? Yeah. Well, the magazine title is a niche. What do you mean magazine title is a niche? Well, take a look at the magazine titles at magazines.com. Is that niche a niche of buyers or browsers? That's my question to you. Buyers or browsers? What are they? Buyers. If people go to google.com and look at the home page, is that a buyer or a browser? A browser. If someone goes to ebay.com, buyer or browser? Buyer or browser, but typically, are they looking to buy or browse? Buy. Okay? It's not like Home Shopping Network where they just do occupational therapy watching. Okay? And then, if they go to junkies.com to buy a book on a topic, is that a buyer or a browser? Buyer. Now, junkies.com has 2,000 titles. Those are niches that you can check out for your own. And then ClickBank. Okay, people make fun of ClickBank because they're low-end products, but you'll find the best headlines, the best guarantees, the best offers, the best videos. Can you have a video transcribed and then do one similar with your own product? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, you can. Why don't you? Someone has probably spent $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on the video. All you got to do is have it transcribed. We use foxtranscribe.com. This turned into something else. Go find it. So that's easier for me to remember. Fox Transcribe. You ready for this? That's $1 a minute. You have someone else who's toil, perspiration, probably arguments between spouses, sales partners, etc. You transcribe the video, and all you do is put your product in the product. And you change it a little bit, yes? You don't start from scratch. You never start from scratch. That's invention. Use improvement. So that's what I do. And my videos are pretty good. We got you here. So transcribe videos, start studying the transcription. And you really want to be a great copywriter? Let's say you don't. Then why don't you think like one? Go to ClickBank, find a website that is in direct competition with you, regardless of the price. And handwrite, repeat that after me. Handwrite the ad on ClickBank word for word. Headlines, sub-headlines, everything. You will think like that copywriter is thinking. You have no choice. You have to. That's how you write better. That's how I learned how to write. If this makes sense to you, just nod your head. It's easy. And you know what? I think we're naturally armed with the idea that it's so easy I should be doing it. It's cheating. Do it. And if you don't want to do it, get your kids to do it or get a junior copywriter to do it. Pay them $20 an hour to handwrite copy. They'll be world class in less than 3 months. Have that moment? Yeah. And they work with another. Finally, I haven't had one in a while. I'm getting like withdrawals because I haven't had most.
I'm Jason Mask, and that is a pack my bag moment because I consider myself a crappy copywriter, but I noticed that the best copywriting I've ever done is when I have really studied, examined my competitor's site and used kind of key phrases out of it, borrowed a lot of their information. But when he said it, it actually brings it to me is that was because my mind was thinking like they were already. And that's purely good. It's 100% good. So that's the I can pack my bag, walk out of here, and go all that stuff, and then it's done.
Thank you. Stay right there. How do you know when you have a competitive advantage? Is when you study your competitor. How else can you have a competitive advantage? People don't study their competitor. They start to write the vacuum in a silo, and they don't look. And then 6 months later, they're broke. And then they don't say look anymore. First place you go is, do I have competitors? And the first competition you look for is on Google. If someone is paying for an ad on Google, check that ad out, click it, they're going to get charged, and see what they have to say. If it keeps popping up, something is happening there. There's a market, no competition, no market. The worst thing you could possibly tell me is outside have a big product I can do. Worst thing you can tell me. Best thing you can tell me, Alex, I have a very motivated market niche. I have no idea what to offer them yet, but they're very motivated. That's what I want to do. Where's the back? All right, give me a hand, please. All right. 5 of them, you can say it out loud. Here we go. These are content ideas. Well, Alex, what do I put in my membership site so people get stuck? Does it only have to be the content? I can't hear you. Okay, this is called Millionaire Mentor Magazine. Okay? There are thousands of words and sentences that are typed in here. This is my first issue I have to put out there. And the one most recent is twice as thick as this. None of it is brand new. None of it. All of it is repurposed. And now people are coming to me because they know I have apple juice on iTunes, meaning I'm getting a lot of traffic. Are you with me? So can you use other people's content in your membership site? Yes or no? Now most people don't like those filter people because no one wants to come to their membership site. No one knows who I am. So what? Don't lie. You say we're starting a membership site. We're looking for new charter members. I think your content is perfect. You don't have to write something new. Let me just turn it into a video. Let me take your article and let me say it into the video and I'll give you credit for it. Can I do that? What do you think they'll say? Yeah. Can you do that? Yeah. Well, let's save you time. Yeah. All right, so here's the content I do. Say it one by one and then write it down. Nice and loud. Keep yourself awake. Here we go. And?
Quick start video.
2, 3, 4, and write it down. Quick start video is simple. Those of you who don't have a membership site, you have no bad habits. Those of you who do, you want to tell your members what to do first, second, third, and fourth. On video, you see, read this first in direct mail. This is watch this first. And the first thing I like to tell people is please come in and introduce yourself. What's an expert interview? That's interviewing another expert. Do they have to be world famous? No. They just have to be an expert. Are some experts famous online but no one knows them offline? Yes or no? Yes. Do they have a lot of traffic? Yes or no? Yes. Are they humble because they don't know how great they are? Yes or no? Yes. So why go after the egocentric ones that are not off one? Go after the ones online you don't even know how to break down. You're smarter than the ones offline. And I know lots of them. And I'm not one of them. All right, live events. I'm going to be motivated. Idea number 3, live events. I have one every single Friday, and we repurpose it. HOA is called Hangout on Air. So have one live event a week, and have it like a TV show or radio show. It happens the same time of the week. If no one is watching, doesn't matter. Is that content from your membership site?
Yes.
Are people willing to pay for stuff that was once free? Yes or no?
Yes.
They're not paying for your content created. They're paying for your content. They're paying for your recommendation and your engagement. Actually, I did something embarrassing the other day. I have $104,000 of content in my membership site. I have more content than Brian Tracy. Does anyone know Brian Tracy? I have more hours than Brian. And it's pretty rich content. All my courses are there. Heck, tell some of their secrets alone takes up about 80 hours. Some of the Harrises were born during that show. Literally, they were born listening to tell some of their secrets. That's why they do. Now, so I have $104,000 for the courses in my membership. That's not why people go there. They could care less. They don't have the time. They want to be told what to do. They want to be curated, not created. They want to create themselves or recreate themselves. So your content isn't the thing. It's how you engage with them. It's your personal relationship. Which is good news if you have no content. Because you'll need a lot of it. On stage recently, I sold one envelope full of one sheet of paper, printed on both sides, and I sold it for $200. On stage. It started for $20,000. And it's worth $20 million. And there are 26 closes, remember closings on stage? 26 closes, 13 on one side, 13 on the other, that I have observed that the masters and that I and others have done over the years. And I listed them and I showed the techniques on 2 sheets of paper. I said, this is worth $20 million. I went down to $2,000 for it, no one was grand. Then we went 800, 600, at $200. Not the sheet of paper you're buying. It's the 2 grams where I'm going to explain how these work that you're buying. Who's in? Are you with me? Yeah. It's not about creation, it's about curation. Did you notice? Yeah. All right? And then repurposing content that's self-explanatory. The more you repurpose, the more reach you have. Same book, total repurposing. Did any of you ever written a book? Take the book, take the table of contents and that's one single week's worth of content in Hangouts. You have a Hangout a day. Just taking the pages out of your book and just kind of reading and commenting on it. And doing a new version. And then finally, private label rights. Who knows what a private label right is? Most private label rights are crap. But they're a start. So if someone has created it, now you can curate it, improve it, and look a lot smarter than you actually are. So that's why I think private label rights. By itself, I would never offer it. But it's a better start than me looking at a blank page. If you're with me, say I'm with you.
I'm with
Give your neighbor a high five and say yes.
Yes.
This journal has been here in the study for the past, actually 24 hours. In this journal, there used to be $14 million worth of ideas. There's now $15.5 million worth of ideas in this journal that I made. This is my idea journal. I have 34 other journals. From the 34, I've taken about 12 of them I put in here. You know how I'm having you do pack my bag moments in the back of your notebook? Yeah. This is one of my journals. You got one? Okay. This is worth $14 million. You didn't know it's been right there. Right? And this journal is full. Okay? This journal is I thought of Ask Database, audio generator, is the video generator, teleseminar secrets. This journal is how all of that started. This by itself is probably worth $200,000. This journal, I want you to have a journal just like this one. And it starts by filling in the blank and saying, carry a content idea what? Journal. Old school. None of this digital crap. Write it so your kids can read it. And change. You have a path for that.
Okay, so this is a
No, yeah,
Okay, good.
good.
Gosh, this is a big one. So I have an expertise in industry, as you know, 25 years in network marketing for selling it. And I just don't have time to do anything with it, so I've pretty much walked away. And I've got 6 courses that companies have licensed and tremendous amount of credibility in a big list. And I haven't been able to do anything because people have the staff. And I thought to myself, maybe there's someone here who wants to build a membership site and needs a hungry audience and an enthusiastic spokesperson and a one-step person who does my content inside. And it never occurred to me that someone else could, that I could partner with someone to build a membership site to serve an industry that I've had to walk away from. So thank you, thank you, thank you. That is worth everything I could do here.
Well, you're welcome. That's not only an impact on that moment, that is a joint venture opportunity at the same time. All right, give her that, All right, now, there are 2 price points. 2 price points I recommend you start with. Okay, these are the ones that have worked for me. They may vary from industry to industry. One is how much, and the other one is how much? 37. Now, if you have the level of self-esteem, if you have the level of self-esteem which costs $37 a month, you need fewer problem children. But if you're going to go to 27 months, you need more problem children. Now, let's say you can get a client a day, or a member a day. Then it's about $1,000 a month. If your price point is 37, if you get, let's say, 28 more clients the next month, what's your income? What's your income? Okay, and what if nobody leaves? What's the income the third month? Okay, people will leave. But you know why I want them to leave? Because they are being imposed upon by you, asking them to buy high-end products. Who in this room can sell a high-end product over $5,000 in a single phone call? Stand up. In a single phone call. Okay? Don't look at me on stage. The wisdom is in the, they're sitting right next to you. Give them a hand while they're standing. But those of you who stood, the ROI versus COI, does that have anything to do with you? It's much more complicated. Good, thank you. Now, all right, what are the 2 steps of creating a membership site as we really get caught up in technology? Here it is. Maybe you get a website, a webmaster is for less than $400, $300, even $200. Create a what theme? WordPress. Why? Because it's easy. There's so many of them. The way I'd like you to do it is go find a look and feel of the site that you like and tell your webmaster, this is what I want. Live it on WordPress, and then you want to what it? Convert it. WordPress by itself won't give you your username and password. That's what you need. The username and password platform, I'm going to give you 4 of them. Here they are. Now they say, it says steps. That's a mistake. It should say platform. Platform 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, platform 1 is what? Platform 2 is what? 3 and 4. Write them down. I use Wishkit. Why? Because I pay once, they're done. Why? Because 2 people who started are students of mine. Why? Because I trust them. Why? Because I taught them. Why? Because I want to share it all. So you can use any one of those other 3. The most expensive is MemberGate. I think it's kind of a Rolls Royce. There's a lot of Europeans that use the gate fee, and they never is free. Customer Hub, I Number 360, Punjabi, all those are fine. I just wanted to just do it for them. And those are fine. They're fine. Okay? As long as, listen to me carefully, this is the only thing that really, as long as your webmaster doesn't hold your hostage, I don't know what you do. The moment the webmaster holds your hostage, you're in trouble. And many of these, that's what happens. So make sure you know enough about what does a figure speak better. That's the, when the webmaster holds you hostage, that means the webmaster knows how to change the website, the membership site, and if you need to change, you need to go to him or her. Sometimes most of it's anyway, right? And what ends up happening is you constantly have to pay. What's the word? Pay. I don't want you to do that. I want you to make the provision yourself so it's easy enough to do, and in this list, I can do it. So as long as your webmaster, how's your hangout?
Excellent.
All right, give her a hand. You're going to be so proud. She's back.
Yes.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Get started. Keep going. How you make it? Keep it going. Okay? Better late than never. Yes. Okay. And anyone that you can ask anyone what we talked about, I'm sure they'll be more than happy. What's the membership site about? So I don't care what you use as long as your webmaster does not hold you. Don't want that. And the webmaster is also something notorious. It's not their fault because they're not marketed. If they were, they would do it. But they are notorious at giving the deadline and not meeting. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay? And so, for example, if they say we're going to launch in 30 days, multiply it by 3. Are you with me? It's not their fault. You know, they're actually doing their appetite. So as long as they don't hold you hostage, get whatever platform you want. The platform has to be able to give your members, your what?
Members.
A username and a password. That's it. And all I'm saying today, and tomorrow, and on Wednesday, is for your squeeze page, your opt-in page, the open page that people come into. Just like these companies that have your images, those image companies where you can buy images from you. And you're logging in. You're given a password and a username. Why can't you do that for your squeeze page? The world's most successful squeeze page or opt-in page is Facebook.com. Irrefutable, and they ask for mail, email, username, password, etc. So you can do something similar. You get fewer people, but don't open the email. What good is it if only 20% of people are opening the email? I have people celebrating 10% of the people opening the email. Not when. Open. Forget the click-through. We have a major problem. Email is getting unworkable. Do you agree?
Yes.
There has to be a change. Do you agree? We have to find a way around email. Do you agree?
Yes.
Do you think that we may have a solution? Okay. Yeah, I didn't go away. I would let you go without having a solution to the email problem. Because I can't survive. I have a very high open rate. Do you know that all of you, your open rate is 55% for a paid event? And we have to call 45% of you to make sure that you got the email. It's not your fault. You have 3, 4 emails, you don't know which one that you opt in. Right?
Right.
I get people overseas saying, I haven't gotten one email from you. What's the email? Oh, that one. Well, that's the one you gave us. So we use the telephone now. Otherwise, we have ransom notices out for it. Because I have high-end products, right? So don't assume people are getting the email. They are not getting it. We have an email epidemic. Let me tell you, it's going to be disintermediated. It's going to dissolve many companies who are booming right now. Are you with me? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Yes. Have them right over here. This is a big problem, folks. And some of my friends have email marketing database. Yes. I don't know whether you've been involved in the funeral or not, but the days are numbered. Go.
Hi, I'm PT Van Paul, and my pack my bag moment is don't expect your clients to actually get the emails you send them. I've been running into this frustration and not knowing what to do about it because I sell thousands of products online and on the membership site, and so just ran into me the other day, and she's like, "Oh, I want a refund. I didn't get your stuff." I'm like, looking at my database, well, we emailed you, and then we emailed you to make sure we got it, and so I think that adding a welcome call to everybody that signs up for my team will really help with that. So thank you.
Thank you. Remember that, back with that, sorry, you're still there, Dave. Go with, thank you. Thank you, Dave. Come on. Now, have you ever heard about people getting questions? How big is your eye? Yes. How big is your eye? Yes. Are those the right questions? Does it really matter? Okay. This database I've worked with, they have 7.5 million people on it. The open rate is 0.0017%. This, you want to really smart, okay? You want to ask the question, how engaged is your list? But you can't ask that question. Because they'll look at you like, they'll look at you like, what are you talking about, how engaged is my list? What kind of woo-woo, Northern California, tree-hugging, working slap question is that? Thank you for that. You don't love this. I hope I get a pat my back moment on this because I can't wait to say it. That's the question. True or true? That is asking how, what is your engagement? Say that one after you. None of you. Thank you. Give Sandra a hand for that question. You are here because of Sandra. Give her another hand. What is your open rate? Has anyone ever asked that question before? Are you going to? Yes. Holy cow! If someone says my open rate is 50%, the next 2 words I'm going to say is prove it. I don't need to see how big their database is. I want to see what their open rate is. Can they show me their open rate? Can they? Yes. If you send an HTML, little letters, if you send an HTML email and they open that, we can measure how many people out of everyone that went through actually opened it. And you can also measure how many people clicked through it. Now, if I really wanted to get technical, I say, let's click through it. But that would be so offensive, I don't want to ask that.
I don't have time. Are you busy?
Not on the first day. That's a first day question.
She has all the pages done in my content.
So, what is your open rate? Is
Not on the pages.
right? Yeah. What's a good open rate? That's an interesting question. We have
I think it just has to sit down with her.
it has an open rate.
Like that's sexual everywhere. No, they didn't edit it. And look at that.
You know that.
No. My content is there in the dashboard.
Yay!
That's it. What you
A good open
But
rate.
the question is, how do you see it
Today.
on the user side?
A good open
Because
rate. Yesterday,
normal
we
user
didn't have
website.
a good open rate today. Really good. Exceptional.
Is there not a preview? Because if you click on preview,
Who disagree?
she has to sign in. She has to, she has to create a secondary
Good.
user. So it's able to,
Now,
she has to
would you like to know?
as normal user signing up. Yeah. Okay, so then you go and
What
list
will
and create a
lower
number.
and suppress your open rate is if you don't mail as often. If you don't mail at least once
So
a
the whole
week,
page, you have it on the page. No. Thanks.
it's full. Right? Opt out. Why? Then we will remember they opted in. So if you mail once a week, the open rate goes up. Now, if you say something that's not interesting, the open rate goes down. If you got, and we should, if you would email problems, right? If you want to get people to do an event, man, and you're using email, you got a problem. Who got a postcard from me? Raise your hand. Were they cool? Yeah. Did you have more than one? Yeah. Yeah. The entire campaign cost me $2,000. And it will generate probably over 50 times that by the time we're done. I mean, hello, it's kind of like we're regressing back to direct mail, to that infrastructure. Right? So good open rate is 25%, right? 20%. You know my typical open rate is? 15%. It's like, and I really put time into the email. So 85% of people are ignoring me. I'm supposed to be doing it. Okay? Email is not done. Email is dead. You're just looking what you guys are about to do. Maybe.
So this is a tip, really. I'm David Blue, I'm my name, Notice to Benchmark. I mail every day to my list. So there's people told me a long time ago I shouldn't do it, but I do anyway. And I can get 30% open rate. And the way I do that is that I mail in the morning at 6 o'clock. I get 10% open rate in. I mail at noon to the unopened.
Wait a second. Did you hear what he said? So he doesn't just blindly mail. He mails, he sees who opens, and then he mails to the unopened, which means he's not offending the open. He's not penalizing it. He's fine.
Another 10%. Then I mail at 5 to 6 to 7 that evening to the unopened. And if it's really important to me, I'll mail again to the unclicked. So people who didn't click on that email will get it again. That's it.
Do you do the back of that? Then back my bag is extra good.
That's the TJ that you did that presentation side.
Okay, go ahead. All right, so the easiest way to attract 400 subscribers, easiest way in the world, in less than a month is doing what? Google, to optimize your Google Plus account. And Google Plus runs Google Hangouts. The easiest way to build a list and circles is to do what on air? Hangouts. If you don't do Hangouts, you are not utilizing the elite outsourcing we talked about with Mitch over there, just raise your hand. You're not going to be utilizing Hangout Millionaire with Peter, raise your hand. They're still there. They're awake. Okay? So bottom line is we got to get into the Hangout scene because Hangouts are intimate. Email is not intimate. What's more intimate? Phone or email? Phone. Why? Actual connection. What's more comfortable for you to send? Phone or email? Email. Why? No confrontation. Okay? What's more fun? Wealth or being broke? Wealth. So if you're going to get wealthy, get more intimate with your list, which means phone, and do exactly what Dave did in email, and you're on the path to the promised land. Did you learn something? Yeah. You don't have to have a speaker up here selling you something, telling you just what to do. We can tell it for free. David is here. He has an event coming up at the beginning of August where I'm going to be. And I'm going to go there, and I'm going to be teaching in the same way. So that, we don't do that. Is Sean in the room? Sean, did you hear that?
No.
Okay, good. Thank you for your honesty. I will you talk to Sean about that? All right, that's outsourcing. We're good. Here we go. So here are the 7 mistakes people make. And what you have to do is you have to write down the word forget. Because I don't want you to write down this late today. I want you to go like this, and I want you to write all the way down the page, forget, or forgot. Okay? Because every single one of these without you forgetting. And when you forget something, it costs money. Let's say them first and then write it down. Here we go. Are you ready? Yeah. This is the final page of the whole day. Are you ready? Yeah. One more time. Are you ready? Yeah. Thank you. Don't let me forget. Write it down. Number 1 on your spot. Very good. Sorry, I wasn't forgetting wrong. The word is wrong. Okay? Not forget. I forgot. There we go. I think you're right. I got too much practice. People sit like this. So, mistake number 2, ready? Find a platform where your webmaster doesn't hold you hostage. Number 3. Strong pricing. Don't have a $1 membership site. Have it free or have it 27 minimum. You're not Netflix at $8. Netflix makes millions, but they got millions of patrons. Okay? 27 minimum. What's the next one? There's only one type of bar engagement. No engagement. Okay? Right now, it's 8:45. Now I'm empty. I was 4 in the morning, I'm empty. Have I lost any enthusiasm for teaching you? Yes or no? No! It is my duty, my dharma to do this until my final thing I say, and then I'm out of here. Why? Because you may be hearing for the first time something that's so important that may make a difference. Right? Yeah. So we're going to end it just as strong as we started it. Yes or no? Yes. We're going to let it go just as strong as we let it go in the morning. Yes or no? And then we're going to sleep instead of drowse at night. Yes or no? Yes. Thank you. All right, mistake number 5.
Give me a second.
Mistake number 5.
Give me a second, Alex.
I'll take as long as you want, because I can't do it every time. There we go. Wrong one. Wrong quick start. The only thing worse than going in the wrong direction is going in the wrong direction. Wrong quick start also means no quick start. If you don't give them something to do when they first come into your membership site, this is what a membership site looks like to a stranger. First time. Intro moment. Where do I start? No, let's not. Let's start. First, I want you to do this. Then this. Then that. Then this. That's called curation. That's called recommendation. That's what it is. Warren Buffett gets paid billions for recommending. Okay? And guess what? You'll get paid more for what you leave out than what you get. Number 6 is what? Just because you know an expert, if it's irrelevant to your niche, don't have an interview with that expert. I don't know how big their list is. Does the size of the list matter? No. Does the engagement of the list matter? Yes. What's the question for engagement? What's your open rate? Well, I'm going to have a lot of upset people. You guys are going to be attacking a lot of people. You know why I did that? Because I don't want to be doing that. Seriously. If companies feel uncomfortable about asking the question, what's their open rate? If you're going to do a joint venture with someone, right, and they're going to mail on your behalf, and it's an equitable deal, meaning it's going to be a fair deal, if they feel uncomfortable about telling you the open rate, then I'm not going to. Because we have a game in the U.S. called Pin the Tail on the Donkey. You hold it, and you have a pin, and then there's a donkey that's on the wall, and you put it on the butt, right? Or the backside, right? Usually you can be down, right? Right? And you go like this, and then sometimes you hit the face. Yeah, I don't want you to do that with your money. Right? When you pin the tail on the donkey with your monthly dollars, it's not done. It stops tonight. Yep. Okay. There's always someone else. Mistake number 7 is what? Wrong mindset. And there's a wrong mistake. Wrong mindset is just ignoring everything we've talked about all day. believe in the mindset, do not come tomorrow morning because it's not going to get any different. But if you want to hear more of it, who wants to hear more of it? Because you may not have it already. And then bonus number 8 is wrong assumption. Wrong assumption. You know, my biggest mistakes of today are my worst assumptions of yesterday. Best ideas yesterday. Now, tonight, I was going to announce the finalists for the membership site market of the year report. And I chose not to do it tonight. You know what I mean? Because we don't have a forecast. I think we have to this. These people have worked really, really hard. And so I'm going to announce it tomorrow morning when everyone is here. Now, we don't know what the membership site market of the year report is. Some people that they arrived they worked for 3 months and did things every single day, every single day. Some people wanted to end nights. Okay? English is not their primary language. They wanted to quit. They wanted to stop. There are people here who didn't remodel their house for the plain flight fee. Is that commitment? Yes. Okay. So I don't know if I agree with that or not, because they lost on the life vest and I don't have that level of commitment to me. When I see that, that's what I want to know. I don't want the finalists announced if there are any missing seats. Are you with me? Yes. Now, here's the news, but we're not going to find that. We're talking about that moment. We're supposed to have 5 finalists. That's what we're supposed to have. But there was an absolute tie, exact points, for number 5, 6, and 7. And between 7, 8, 9, breaks my heart, even closer. That I'm going to take 5, and it really is now 6 and 7. So if you're in the money, there's 7 of you, but not 5 of you. So let's give a city ovation to the possible winners of that. Here's what's going to happen. Harder for them. First of all, they get to sleep tonight because they don't know if they're finals. And here's what we announce it tonight. I'm going to give their speech tomorrow. I'm going to announce it in the morning. Okay? And you'll probably not listen to anything I say all day. And then at night, they're going to give a speech, and you're going to vote on it. And they're going to vote on it, something like that. And we're going to have the membership site volunteer of the year. That's called a challenge. That's a called? And a challenge is a membership activity. Those of you who have been in a challenge, raise your hand. Has it been the most challenging thing you've ever done in your life? Yes or no? Was it worth it? Oh, it is. I'm glad you did. Then we should travel long distances. But it's not just a challenge in marketing. It's a challenge to change the way you look at life. That's what I mean.
My name is Crystal, and I'm from Clovis, California. And my back moment came when I was filling out the sheet and looking for the bonus. And I'm like, I don't see it. He forgot it. And I thought, well, wait a minute. Like, what happens if I make that same mistake? Instead of making it look like a mistake, I'm making it look like an extra benefit as a bonus. So now I don't feel so bad if I make a mistake.
Awesome. Did everyone get the 8 mistakes though? There are 8, right? The final one is assumption. Got it? Okay, good. But there was no bonus written. So what you said is a great way to add something to a Google product or anything else. Also, it's a great way to get an email together. If you find a mistake in this email, I'll pay you $50. I had a very high rating. And I did actually do that, all right? All right, you put your chairs back. We're going to be here in the morning. The doors are going to be opening at 7:50. What time? We're going to start at 8:30 sharp. What time? 8:30. Put your chairs back. It's not even 9 o'clock. Come on. GBI, come on. What time do we leave? 11:30 at night. You tell these people they're going to... Okay. All right. Did we have a good day? Yeah. Are you proud of what you learned? Yeah. This is your... And so so proud to train you. Let's let it know. Are you ready? Okay? Get the heck out of here and get the bed like I'm going to do. Ready? Ready? And...